Welcome to The Review, a mini episode from Full Dive Gaming Podcast. In The Review, we choose a single VR game, dive on into it, giving you all the details, and then a yay or nay on whether or not we think you should buy it. This episode is Jay and Nat discussing fitness app Supernatural. I gotta tell you real quick, this review is now brought to you by Asterion products. If you haven't already checked them out, go on Amazon, search Asterion Aura, and then use code FULLDIVE10 to save 10% off just the best looking VR stands in the game. Nat, what is Supernatural?
Supernatural is a VR fitness app that has flow workouts, boxing, stretching, and meditation. It is a spendy little app at $19 a month or $180 annually if you get the annual subscription. But if you're doing the monthly subscription, it actually ends up being about $48 more per year. They always get you with that monthly membership.
Yep.
It is only on the Quest, and it was first released in April 2020, so it's been out for a couple years now. Got a pretty good backlog of workouts on there, and I feel like they're trying to be VR Peloton.
Yeah, tell our listeners who've never seen this or played it, what is a regular workout like? How does it start, and what happens? What do you go through when you choose one of these workouts?
So, as I mentioned, they do have some different workouts, but the flow workout, which is the first type of workout that they had, flow makes it sound like it's yoga. It is not like yoga. It's very Beat Saber-esque. It is, instead of slicing boxes, it's hitting balls with a bat. It's like cones, hitting cones with a bat. And you're just kind of moving around. They do have a little bit more, it is more fitness focused than something like Beat Saber. So they do have little triangles that you fit in to do like squats and, going kind of side to side and things like that. It goes with music. They have coaches that more are just kind of at the beginning. They have you go through a little warm up where you do some stretches. Very varying difficulties on the stretches. Sometimes they're a little intense, especially for a warm up. And then when you get into the workout, the coach, you don't see them anymore. So at the beginning, they're there in front of you and you see them. But once the workout starts, you're looking at your little cones that you're hitting, and you just hear the coach saying like, do this and that, and good job.
Statements
blah,
of
blah, blah.
encouragement.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And these coaches it's all pre-recorded. You know, if you do bad, if you do great, they're not going to say great job or, oh, keep on trying. It's the same things every time. It's not going to change based on how good or bad you are performing throughout this. Right. So really what they try to do is they tell you, you're going to have what looks like kind of like a baseball bat in each hand. And they're going to tell you, you're not using your wrist. You are meant to use your full arm motions, your full shoulders, and you are meant to swing and make this a full body workout while you're doing it. And just as you said, it has some shapes that come at you that make you squat or lunge side to side. And they're trying the best they can to really make a full body workout out of you having a controller in each hand and a headset on. They don't have control over necessarily what you're doing with your legs and what you're doing with your core, but they really are trying really hard to engage your entire body. They've added boxing workouts recently, which have you switching your foot stance back and forth, punching, uppercuts, hooks, all kinds of stuff. The boxing is actually, I think, a harder workout.
Yes.
Although we'll kind of get into the scoring system in a little bit, but the boxing seems to be worth less points than the flow workouts, even though I think it's a much harder workout.
Right.
They have meditations, and then they also have a thing like recovery that's just stretching. So when you first get in, like she said, you meet your coach. They're standing in front of you. They tell you a little few words about the program that's coming up. And then you go into a playlist, which you can see ahead of time. And these are all songs that you're going to potentially know from like the 70s until now, modern hits, old school, rock, R&B,
I would say
it's
definitely more old school than new.
Yeah, sure. It's definitely, if you find anything on there beyond 2015, there's a few, but it's going to be pretty rare. It's all much older stuff, but then you get transported for each song to a different 360-degree environment.
Yes, forgot to mention that part.
Yeah, they're really beautiful. You're all over the world. You might be standing outside the pyramids of Giza, and then the next one you might be in the Bahamas. And they're really pretty and they're really well done because they are 360 photos, but they've re-engineered the photos to where it looks three-dimensional. So for instance, if you're standing on a bridge and you move your head side to side, that bridge will move differently than the background beyond the bridge, just like in real life, how things move differently when you look around. So
they also look a lot better now. If you go to the earlier workouts, the pictures were a lot less nice. They've added some stuff, like if there's water, they add like some movement and stuff to it. The newer workouts, definitely the environments look a lot nicer.
Yes. And you've got different levels. You've got low, medium, high intensity is what they're called. So whether you're just starting out or whether you've done Beat Saber for years and you're looking for more of a fitness oriented program, you're going to be able to find a level that works pretty well with you. There's nothing like Expert Plus Beat Saber. And you're going to hear me comparing this to Beat Saber. This is not Beat Saber. I really want to make that clear. This is a VR exercise program. And when you look at it, it looks similar to Beat Saber if you look at some footage of it. But when you go try it, it feels very different than Beat Saber does.
I definitely thought when I first saw the ads for it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just a Beat Saber knockoff. But it definitely does feel very different.
I think that's what everyone thinks. And people even say like, oh, don't bother with it. Go play Beat Saber instead. Well, it is different. And there are people who don't like Beat Saber that we know that love Supernatural because Supernatural, you're in it to exercise. You're in it to work out. You're not competing against people on high score leaderboards, but rather it has its own leaderboard system where every week it renews. So everyone gets set back to 0. And then for the week, you're seeing each other's points go up and you're trying to keep up with your friends in their overall points for the week. And points are based on how long it is, how well you do with your accuracy and your speed and these kinds of things. But it's not, 1 million points per song or something. It's a few hundred points. So it's not this huge difference that's going to set you apart from everyone else you're playing with.
Right. And what's nice about it too is that if someone, is kind of just starting out, they could still compete with their friends that are doing like high level workouts. They could just do more of the lower level workouts, a longer period of time, and they can still keep up with their friends that are doing the higher level at fewer minutes. So that's a really nice feature about it, I think.
Yeah, because we've seen that. We got Supernatural because some of Nat's family wanted to get VR headsets. They actually wanted to get into VR only for Supernatural. I don't think they've played any other games, nothing else they've really done, but they had kept seeing the Supernatural ads running on the JBrat channel. And so they were like, okay, we want to do this. They were like, tell us what headsets we need, what head straps, what everything, just like deck us out. They each got their own headset. They each paid for their own membership because you can't get one membership between two quests. Yeah. You can get a membership on one quest and have multiple profiles. So they each pay this cost and they played with us. And even though I'd been playing Beat Saber for years and I was playing on high and some of them were playing on easy or medium, it was still very easy for them to surpass my points just by spending a little more time in the app. So it really motivates you in a good way and doesn't feel like you're pitted against each other, but kind of like you're all in it together.
Yeah, that is. And I see why Meta bought out Supernatural. It seems like a very Meta / Facebook type thing because they like having things where you're like engaging with your friends and, collecting all the data on how much you work out. So
now
feels
now we have your heart rate too. They did purchase them. They're a part of them now. So we'll probably see, faster advancements and more coming with it. Maybe some better incentives on the price because I've never seen much of a sale on this. Yeah. So maybe with some Facebook deals, they'll offer some sales. But for all of you out there who are hearing this and you're like, oh, I kind of wanted to try something like that. There's a 2-week free trial. Just make sure, set a calendar on your phone after 10 days and decide whether you want it or not, because if you leave it, it will auto renew just like everything out there does.
Right.
What have we not talked about as far as goes? There's 6 different coaches now.
Yes.
Nat, do you have a favorite coach?
I do. Rainier is my favorite coach. He is very upbeat and exciting. He is flamboyant. He is fun. He really gets you into it. And he has some of the most intense warm-ups and cooldowns, which I guess is good. But I'm like, you're like squatting down and like stretching out to the left and right and like kind of yoga-esque, and it's like, okay, but it's good. And it's really hilarious. So if you go back to the early workouts with Rainier, he is like very quiet. He was like very not himself, I guess. You never know, I guess, what someone's self actually is like, but he just seemed to come out of his shell a lot more later on and became a lot more fun and exciting. So it's really hilarious to go back to the old workouts that he did and be where he's like, hello, I'm Rainier, blah blah blah, all quiet and even. So strange. Also, one thing I really wanted to talk about with this app is I really appreciate that during the workout, there's no HUD. There's nothing telling you that you're doing terrible. Like, you'll see if you don't hit one of the cones, but there's nothing showing like, oh, you just lost a whole bunch of points or anything like that. It's just in between each song. It shows you how many points you got for that song. So I really like that because that's one thing with Beat Saber that I have a little bit of a hard time with. I get very frustrated if I start doing bad or if I fail the song, or, you know, even if I have no fail on, you can see you're doing terrible. And I'm like, I'm just going to stop because I'm obviously terrible at this and I hate it. And so it's nice that they really have a lot of things in place that keep you motivated and want to keep going. And what would you say the comparison is of fitness levels, or like how much of a workout you're getting in this versus Beat Saber?
So if you're having this on high, that's obviously the highest level you can get. And Beat Saber has all kinds of crazy songs out there that are much more difficult. The thing about Supernatural is there's a bit of self-accountability because they tell you don't use your wrists, you know, keep your arms straight, really engage your shoulder muscles, your chest muscles, tighten your core while you're playing. You are meant to be working out. Where Beat Saber, the better people get, the less exercise they actually get at it, because they get to the point where they're playing these crazy songs, but all they're doing is flapping their wrists.
Right.
And it's totally different. If you're holding yourself accountable, Supernatural is actually a much better workout, not only because you're playing like that, but you're also, it's song after song after song. You pick a playlist between, I think the shortest ones are 8 minutes and the longest ones are like, there's like 52-minute ones. So you are, and it's just one after another after another. There's barely a break in between. Yes, you can pause it, but you're not encouraged to. So Supernatural is a better exercise program if you are trying to get exercise, where Beat Saber, you might accidentally get exercise because you're just having fun doing it. Supernatural can be fun, but I think you always remember that you're doing exercise while you're doing Supernatural. You don't get lost in the music quite as much.
That's true. Yeah. I do think it is still a fun way to get exercise. As I think one of the biggest things, though, to make sure you're having fun is picking the right playlist. Because I found that I actually do, like, I get less points when I do playlists that I'm not really vibing with. I don't hit the cones as hard, even if I'm trying to. But if I find a playlist I really like, I found that punk playlists, I get very into it and I get like really high amount of points because I'm just like, rah! And so, yeah, I definitely, and I get more into it and I'm just having fun more than just like, oh my gosh, how many more songs do I have left? So I think that's really important. And that is one thing that can be kind of hard with it. They do have new playlists that come out, I think, is it a few times a week or something like that?
They have something come out every day, but that could be a meditation. That could be a stretching. So something comes out every single day, but it may not always be another hard dubstep playlist, where for me, that's mostly what I play. And so I end up, having to replay some of the same old playlists because it might be 3 weeks between another high level dubstep style playlist comes out.
Yeah. So it can be kind of hard if there's only one certain type of music that you vibe with in the game. So, or the app. or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's definitely a consideration.
Yeah, and something else to consider, this app did get bought by Meta recently. They've been constantly adding to it even before Meta bought it. But this, if you tried a free trial of it 2 years ago when it launched, it's probably a whole different program now than it was then. So I don't know if you can redo a free trial if you did one that long ago, but I would hope so, because it'd be best to see that a lot has changed and a lot has come. And that's where, for me, sometimes I take a break from Supernatural and I play Beat Saber for weeks and then I come back. It's kind of nice to do that too for me, because there's been enough time for there to be a few more playlists. Where if you're doing this every day, like we were for a while, or at least 4 or 5 times a week, you'll exhaust the playlists of your preferred music genre probably in a matter of months, maybe 6 months, but you'll get to that point and then you'll be playing the same ones over and over again.
Right,
and it
which
could get
I get
pretty
annoyed
dull.
with. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is kind of funny, because with Beat Saber, you're playing like the same songs. Like when we had Beat Saber just on PSVR, we played just the first, 3 OSTs like a million times and never really got sick of it. So I guess just because you're trying to keep getting better and going up the leaderboard, maybe. But yeah, with Supernatural, I feel like I play a playlist one time and I'm like, if I go back to it again, I'm like, I've already done this one.
Yeah, well, I think part of that is because the coach always says the same thing
Oh,
too.
that's true. Yeah.
It's the same thing every time. So it gets to the point where I turn the coach volume down as low as I can and the music and sound effects up as high as I can and kind of ignore them, because I'm like, okay, this is the third time I've heard them tell the same story about how they got into dubstep music. And it's nice. It's nice that they're doing that, but it gets a little stale due to that. So they are adding more. That's not a huge point to worry about right now, but it is something that I noticed in my time when I was doing it several times a week.
Yeah.
What is there something else we haven't covered before we give the yay or nay on this one?
Trying to think. I think the main thing I wanted to emphasize was that there's no HUD like in the middle of it, which is very motivating to me.
Yeah, you can't lose a song. You could literally leave your headset sitting there and it'd be running. You wouldn't get any points for that song, but you can't lose while you're doing it, because this is about getting through the workout. It's not about beating something or winning something, which is how fitness programs honestly should be built. I don't think that other ones that have tried, boxing ones where you end up losing the level, that's not going to give you the best fitness experience. Give me less points, but you need to be able to get through the level. You're just going to get discouraged.
Right. And another thing, since we're doing so many comparisons to Beat Saber, there's definitely not any kind of multiplayer capability, which makes sense since it has like the pre-recorded things that the coaches are saying and whatnot. So it's the weekly leaderboard thing is kind of where you get your comparing to your friends and stuff.
Yeah, and there's a companion phone app that you also see the leaderboard of your friends. You can go like their posts, you can comment on things and other things like that too. So there is a lot of the fitness side is what you're seeing on your app and doing from there. And that's also kind of nice because you can seek out playlists and add them to your list that you want to play from the app. So the app is a big help.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny though, the app is like its own little social media thing, and they also encourage you to be like, oh, you did Supernatural 4 times this week, take a picture and post it on social media.
Yeah,
which is kind of funny. And they encourage you to like join the Facebook groups and stuff like that, which I'm being kind of like, oh gosh, they're just trying to get you to go on Facebook, but it also is, I think, partially to help keep you motivated, which is nice. One more thing I wanted to hit on, since you mentioned that you can go to the app and look for the playlist. They also have a nice feature that they added, I don't know, maybe a year ago now or 6 months ago or something like that, where they make it way easier to find like specific playlists that you want. They have all these filter options even while you're in the headset, where you can choose like how long you want the workout to be, if you want it to be low, medium, high, what type of music you want, which coach you want it to be with. So that's really nice, makes it a lot easier to find exactly what you want. And then one more little thing, since you were mentioning the app, when you like people's little posts on the app, or if it says, they did a workout, it is a little annoying, at least for me on my Android phone. When I go to like it, it goes buzz, 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 buzz every single time. If you try and like a whole bunch, buzz, 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 and it's super annoying.
Yeah, minor details, but yeah, it's true. You try because like someone's done 3 workouts in one day because they did 3 short ones, and you're trying to like them all, and it's like slowing you down. But
Right.
I think we have talked about it enough. I think we are good to give you a yay or nay. So 3, 2, 1, yay.
Yay.
I'll throw out there, I'm throwing a yay because there is a free trial.
Yeah, that's
and because of that, you've got nothing to lose except some sweat and some calories. So I would say if you've been thinking about, is VR worth exercising in? Do I want to try it? Go try it. Find some friends on Quest who have it. You can look me up. I think I'm just under JBrad on there. Look me up and you can, because if you follow your friends and it shows you them on the leaderboard. I will be honest, I've been doing a lot of Beat Saber this last month. I have not played as much Supernatural as everyone else is. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be the week that I get back in now that we're talking about it. I'm going to have to. So hopefully I'll see some of you on the leaderboard out there. Nat, do you have anything to say about your yay?
Yeah, my little hesitation was just the price point. I feel like it is ridiculously priced. I don't think it should be $180 annually. That's like a gym membership. This is not a gym membership. It's a good like cardio workout. It is not like a gym. So I don't think it should be that expensive. I think it's prohibitively expensive. And I think they're just doing that so they can be like, we're like Peloton. If anyone doesn't know what Peloton is, that's like that, like it, what is it called? Recumbent bike thing?
Yeah.
That has also like a subscription thing and is also like kind of hoity-toity thing. So yeah, at some point I feel like they should decrease that price point. So hopefully, like you said, they'll do that or at least have some discounts at some point.
Definitely. Well, if you're out there and you have more questions about it, you want to hear more before you take the plunge, come join our Discord. Hit us up over there. I'll tell you all about Supernatural. I played it a lot. I feel like I'm pretty well versed in what it has to offer. Nat's there too. She can also answer questions for you. And then you can say, hey, here's a challenge. I'm going to get on this thing and I'm going to rack up the most points this week and maybe get me full force back into it because we paid that 180 and I need to continue using it because for the first like 6 months, I used it a ton and Nat's still using it. I'm like, oh, Beat Saber's been calling my name again. It's hard. I feel like I'm split between 2 loves here. Hey, want to say thank you so much to everybody out there. And Nat, what do they got to do?
Dive on in.
Dive on in. Thank you.